No dobra, oglądamy to, to jest stary content J.K. Leeds, mega. Często oglądam generalnie do snu, nie zawsze z niego content na YouTubeku, ale obejrzymy sobie. Słuchajcie, Dark Souls 1 Cheese Only, czyli przychodzisz Dark Souls 1, ale każdego bossa musisz zabić jakimś glitchem, 23 minuty.
Hey, it's JK.
Ciekawy jestem, czy generalnie wpadnę na
After
każdy
choosing up
sposób
most of the bosses
zabicia
in
go.
Bloodborne a little while ago, I thought it was time to give Dark Souls 1 the same treatment.
Kurde,
For
ja
those
wam tutaj
unaware, choosing
poopowiadam.
means to bypass the usual
To też
difficulty
znam.
of a boss by abusing certain mechanics, glitches, or
Ej,
design
będę próbował
flaws. Basically,
zgadywać,
making the
dobra?
fight a trivial affair that doesn't require the skill normally needed to succeed. Dark Souls 1, as
Ale
you probably
all
know,
bosses nie mam
has code that
pojęcia.
is held together by strands of spaghetti, so perfect for me to sprinkle
Ołkiem
parmesan
dużo
all
można.
over it. I'll be using glitches, skips, overpowered strategies, and just
Nie no,
general
generalnie chyba prawie każdego bossa da się zrobić pupłokiem, chodzeniem kupy. Jest glitch, który bez kitu się tak nazywa pupłok. I on polega na tym, że podmienia się animację w taki sposób, że gra się glitchuje, zaczyna wykonywać animację 2 razy szybciej. Wtedy się to w taki bardzo śmieszny sposób biega, faktycznie jakby się kupę miało. I dlatego się tak nazywa. I to sprawia, że każda animacja jest 2 razy krótsza, przez co animacja wchodzenia przez mgłę jest na tyle krótka, że nie triggeruje bossa i boss nie wczytuje swojego AI. I wydaje mi się, że większość bossów da się tym zrobić, no nie? Ale, no kurde, są ciekawsze sposoby.
nonsense to absolutely break this game wide open. Here's the whole journey in a nice edited format for your cheese of enjoyment. First up, we make our character Derp Cheese. If this guy turned up at your doorstep offering you a basket of cheese, what would you say to him? Let me know in the comments below. We choose the Master Key as gift and choose the Cleric class.
Główny klucz.
Yes,
Kleryk.
indeed. We get out of our
Nie wiem,
cell
dlaczego
and
kleryk.
grab the
Dobra, pierwszy boss giga proste. On ma tak, że można go zabić na first encounterze tego Asylum Demona i wyjść z gry. Gra uznaje go za zabitego i da ci klucz od tego rycerza, który tam leży. On się Oskar nazywa? Oskar chyba. Ja nigdy nie wiem, czy Oskar, czy Konrad. Oskar. Da ci wtedy z Estusem klucz do wyjścia, ale nie pojawi się jeszcze napis Victory Achieved, przez co boss nie zostanie zarejestrowany finalnie jako zabity i po powrocie do gry nadal będzie zrespiony, no nie? To jego tak można.
So the first boss is the
Aha,
Asylum
Konrad on się
Demon.
nazywa.
And yeah, we need to skip him
Oscar.
for now. By going onto the ledge above, pushing R2, waiting a second, and then doing R1 as you're coming down to activate the plunge attack, it's possible to trigger a glitch which gets you on top of the Asylum, if you don't end up falling and
W
dying
inny
instead.
sposób to zgliczował,
It took quite a while, but eventually, well, I thought I'd pulled it off, but actually, no. The videos I'd seen involved landing on the roof of the Asylum, where you can then roll off to the outside. I, however, somehow landed inside the wall, meaning I couldn't jump down from here. I tried a variety of different things, but could never end up in the right place despite trying to copy the videos I'd seen of this perfectly. So, after no joke about 3 hours of wasted time,
Jezu,
I made a new
3
character,
godziny.
this time choosing black firebombs as the gift.
Dobra, i zrobię to, o
Using
czym ja
them,
mówię.
I killed the Asylum Demon on first encounter,
Tak.
but quit out before I got the victory achieved text.
teraz tak.
To be fair, killing him with
Gra
4
uzna
black
już go za
firebombs is
zabitego.
kinda cheesy in
Na tyle, żeby dać ci klucz,
itself, I'd argue.
wychodzi,
But anyway, I loaded back in and then
Boss
ran
się
to Oscar
zapisuje,
and he
dostajesz
gave me
klucz.
the big pilgrim's key. But the Asylum Demon is still
Dokładnie.
alive. I now run into the boss room, open this door, and finally leave the Asylum. We'll be coming back for this guy a little later. For now, we can follow this fire link using my favorite web browser, Google Chrome. I made my way to Undead Berg and then entered the tourist demon.
Dobra, Taurus Demon też giga prosty. Jak odpowiednio się ustawisz, on po prostu robi skok w tył i sam spada.
Boss room where I kill the archers to make life a little easier. This is an oldie, but a goodie. Getting Tourist Demon to jump backwards out of the arena. It took a bit of messing around to do, but after
Jest setup na to odpowiednie, jak się biegnie płynnie, nie?
a
To
minute
też
or
jest
so,
ciekawe.
Taurus actually jumped up onto the wall
A to jest
and then
proste
fell
akurat,
backwards to his death.
To jest full
It
setup
looks a
na
little
to.
bit like a furry
Na speedrunach
cow,
go
so let's
używają.
call this
Ej, strasznie
buffalo
głośna
mozzarella.
muzyka, nie?
With that sorted, I run across the bridge and level strength and dex. I get to the Firelink shortcut elevator and then head back to the Asylum.
O kurwa.
Going back
Drugiego
into the
Asylum
Asylum
Demona nie mam
Demon's boss
pojęcia jak
room,
zabić.
the floor falls away.
Może będzie stary damage, gdzie jeden
And
zabije
we take the
drugiego, będą
Asylum
mieli
Demon
friendly
down to
fire.
see his brother.
I chyba
In
Asylum
2
Demona
hits,
tak
the
zabije.
Stray Demon takes out
Dokładnie.
the Asylum Demon, giving us our second boss
Ale z
kill,
Stray Demonem
some
nie mam
tasty
pojęcia co.
Asylumi. We then bone the hell out of there, take out the big guy in the church, and then take out this guy who conveniently drops the buckler, which is actually
Dobra, gargulce też jest AI break, którego się pupłokiem da się go wykonać, ale jego da się jeszcze
very
jakoś
handy
inaczej
for what I plan
wykonać.
to do with the gargoyles. First, we go through the fog gate,
Jest
activate
AA
the
break
gargoyles
typowo.
fight, and then exit out. Next, we need to make sure all the hollows are dead except for one of them. Then, what you do
Parujesz
is you
go.
get your buckler in
Okay.
your left hand and make sure your right hand is empty. You can also do this barehanded if you don't have the buckler. So, we
To
lure
tak.
the solitary hollow all the way up to the fog
się
gate
wczytają
with our
paski.
back to it. Then we parry him as close as possible to the fog gate so that we can do a
I teraz
barehanded riposte.
wejdzie...
If done right, it'll push you slightly into the boss arena. The boss health bar appearing is the indicator that it's worked. Then, once you see this,
Teraz on musi
run
odbiec
all
do
the way back
ogniska,
to rest at the
dokładnie,
bonfire,
zresetować
and then
to.
back up to the boss
Jak
arena.
wróci, to
and when
będzie
you
AI
enter,
zbreakowane.
boom, the
Easy.
first gargoyle is AI frozen.
Tak.
Sadly, the second one is still active,
A
but he
drugiego
only
się
has
nie da
half health
zglitchować.
anyway, and mainly does the fire breath attacks, which
Nie
are
da
easy
się
to
nic
avoid
zrobić
and
z tym,
punish. Once he's dead, just finish beating this guy to death, and there we go. Some extra tasty Gargonzola. The first bell is now rung. We head back to Andre, buy some Titanite shards, and level Dex to 14. I grab the longbow from Darkroot Garden and get it upgraded all the way
Łukiem
to
dużo
plus
rzeczy będzie
5.
tu glitchowane.
I now head to the lower berg, of course using the fire there to kill the enemies. I didn't say
Kapra
it
giga
was just
prosty,
bosses
rzucasz
that
bomby,
we'd be
stary,
choosing.
nie?
We now run
To
through to
nawet
the
ostatnio
female
na
cranky
challenge z
tosser
młodym
merchant,
robiliśmy.
who is an important NPC for this run. We then farm loads of souls and buy dung pies, mosses, and a bunch of arrows. While I was flush with cash, I also went and bought fire bombs and the residence key. For Capra Demon, it's another
Tak,
classic.
celujesz o tu,
Stand
nie?
by this arch,
Dokładnie.
aim up to this point here with the bow, and then throw
Kilka
either
bomb
fire
i-
bombs or dung
I
pies.
HP mu sadzi.
Personally, I went for dung pies first to get him toxicked, and then followed up
Kurwa,
fire
10
bombs to
bomb
speed up the
wystarczy.
process. Easy kill. Goat's cheese, anyone? With the key to the
Siema,
depths,
Ingvar.
I go down and
Dzięki
grab
za
the
14
large Andre.
miesiąc.
For Gaping Dragon, I thought
Nie ma
Solaire could
chyba na Gaping Dragona nic. Totalnie nic, bo on nie stoi na arenie, on wychodzi z areny. I wydaje mi się, że jego się nie da schizować.
solo him, but I was wrong. Very wrong. I thought about getting Kirk and doing the parry trick I did for the gargoyles, but unfortunately, it won't work as the cutscene plays at the start of
Dokładnie.
every fight anyway. Instead, I went to free Laurentius and then got out of the depths for now. I go speak to Lautric at Firelink Shrine, and also speak to Laurentius who's now moved here. I get the Pyro Flame from him and upgrade it to plus 15. I also buy all of his pyromancies.
Ej, wy też tak macie, że jak oglądacie takie challenge z zajazdów, to w sensie bym sobie w DS-y pograł?
I chat to Domul now and buy the Crystal Greatsword. Now, back to the Gaping Dragon once again. I
Na
summoned
Samonem
Solaire
go
even though
zabije.
he was useless once again. I used Pyromancy to just annihilate the Gaping Dragon's health, followed by some gold pine resin infused hits with the Crystal Greatsword to finally earn us a nice ball of Gaperon. We head down to
nie
Blight Town
schizował
now,
go.
easily kill the parasite, and get power within for later. On to Spider Mummy, Quaylak.
Dobra, ona ma pojebanego AI Breaka, którego robi się w Blight Town, bo jest jedno miejsce na deseczce, na które możesz wejść i ona ci w ogóle triggeruje Defcama i wtedy możesz przejść przez jej arenę i w ogóle zadzwonić w dzwon bez zabijania jej. Możesz wskoczyć na kilka martwych pikseli i w nią strzelać, ona cię wtedy nie może trafić. To jest multum.
I've heard it rumored for ages that she can be toxic, but she has really high resistance. Well, time to give it a go. I ran around pelting her with dung pies until after about 20 of them, she finally got the toxic. I could have just kept doing this until she died, but instead, I jumped up to this ledge here
Dokładnie tu.
and shot her repeatedly with arrows in her human body. Shooting the human body causes her to
Voice
stagger,
break,
so
no?
you can just keep doing this over and over again, stagger locking her until she dies. So, fun fact, while writing this section, I googled spider cheese, and it turns out there's a German cheese called Spinnenkäse. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but anyway, it translates directly to spider cheese. The cheese is made by leaving it in a box with cheese mites, which consume the cheese and excrete an enzyme that helps the cheese ripen. So,
Co ty gadasz?
there you go. You're welcome, I guess. Anyway, Qualag is dead. With the second bell rung, I join the Chaos Covenant and rank up in it for the Chaos Storm and Chaos Fireball pyromancies. Across the way in the swamp, I speak to Quailana and upgrade our Pyro Flame to max and buy all of her pyromancies. I then kill Quailana to get Fire Tempest. I actually never used this, so it appears I just killed her for no reason. Oops. Anyway, on the way back out of Blight Town, I grab the red tearstone ring from Valley of Drakes, kill the Black Knight, and head up to speak to Ember. While we're here, I quickly kill the Moonlight Butterfly with 2 power within boosted Chaos Fireballs to make a
Motyla
tasty
się chyba
grilled
też nie
cheese.
da schizować.
With that butter fried, time to make
No,
our way through
strzelić go
Sens.
można, ale no on
With some
też
high speed
wychodzi,
running,
nie?
we get to the top bonfire safely.
Nie stoi na
I
arenie,
go see the
więc nie da się go
crestfallen
strzelić
merchant
z
and buy
daleka.
large titanite shards and black fire bombs from him. I get the cage key just beyond him and go back down to Ember and upgrade the longbow to +10. For Iron Golem, I had initially
Kurde, golema można zrobić atak z biegu w trakcie graba i to cię wytepa od razu na lądy i go skipnąć teoretycznie, więc przychodzisz za niego i go
intended
cheezujesz.
to do the cheese where you do the running attack of the great sword on his grab,
Dokładnie.
get him to push you out of the
Ale
boss
też
room
można mu
so that you can
breaka
shoot him with
zrobić
arrows from outside his
błokiem.
arena
O,
safely.
dokładnie to.
But
To jest giga
I then
ciężkie.
remembered the hours that it took to do this glitch on the sorcery one-shot run, so I decided to go a different route. 3 great combustions. Iron Golemental has been achieved.
To nie jest cheese do końca, nie?
We arrive now in Anolondo. Here, I used arrows to easily clear the rafters and cheese the Silver Knight Archer off the ledge here. Time to set up for Ornstein and Smo.
Oni
First,
mają to
we
samo
need
co
to
z
take out these
gargulcami.
guys so
Też
the
jej
area
breaka
before
im
the
się
boss
robi.
door is
Ale
clear.
tylko na pierwszą
Next,
fazę.
we lure the Silver Knight all the way here to the boss
Dokładnie.
door, parry him by the door, and riposte bare
też się
fist,
wraca do
just as we
ogniska.
did with the gargoyles. If done right, the cutscene triggers and the boss health bars appear. But I'm actually still outside the fog gate. They are aggro now and will try to attack you through the fog door, but of course, they can't really get you if you stand back a little bit. Now, we can kill the Silver Knight. With the way clear, we can start throwing firebombs. Black firebombs are the best, they have a bigger AoE, so it's easier to hit the target. Smo is, of course, bigger, so we take him out first just because he spends most of his
Kurwa,
time
bez
pressed against the
resetowania
door
to
anyway,
robili.
so hitting him is not too tough. Timing the throws after he swings the hammer is best. For Super Ornstein, hitting him is quite a bit trickier actually. A lot of the throws won't get him, and you need to stand further back or he can still get you with his very long spear. The best strat I found is standing far back enough that you bait his lightning spear projectile. If you throw the firebomb as you see him charging it, you'll usually hit him as he pokes through the fog gate. After about 10 minutes total, Ornstein and Smo go down. Some tasty prover Smone there.
Tak, no, wtedy miał
Speaking
drugą
of
fazę
cheese,
normalnie,
though,
tak jak
one
ja
thing I'd
mówiłem.
really like to cheese is our goal of hitting 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year.
Dzięki, Rawdy,
We
za
only do
piąty.
that with
Dzięki,
your help,
Kazimierz,
so if
za
you are
piąty.
enjoying the content, please do consider hitting that button because it means a lot. Also, there's now a secondary channel, Hey Hey It's JK, where I'll be doing a lot of the live streams going forward. So if you like live streams, then please do subscribe there as well. Thank you. I appreciate you all. With Tweedledum and Tweedledee Tweedledead, we now get the Lord Vessel from Guinevere and promptly shoot her in the face. I then grab the Hawk Ring from behind the giant blacksmith. This ring
Większy
increases
range do
arrow
łuku.
range, which is crucial for our next boss, that being Gwindelin, of course. With the
Też się
Hawk Ring
breakuje.
equipped, we can shoot him with some arrows after entering the boss fight. Although they don't actually do damage, at least with the longbow, poison arrows can still poison him. So now, we just play the waiting game. Poison does 540 damage over 3 minutes, and Gwindelin has 2000 health, so it will take 4 procs to actually kill him.
To nawet nie wiedziałem,
After
że
over
jak się
10
stoi tak
minutes,
giga daleko,
Gwyndelin
to
finally
jeszcze
dies.
nie strzela. Dzięki
Back in
Dajmosik,
Undead
dzięki
Parish, we
Demola.
buy the Crest of Andorius from Artray. Now, we go to Sif's arena, activate the boss fight, then quit out the
Jego
game to
się
start us
zabija
outside the
z
boss
skały z
arena.
daleka. O,
To the left of
dokładnie.
the door, we jump over
Łukiem.
this bit of rubble, make our way up, and boom, we can shoot Sif comfortably from up here with no issue. We can actually do damage with arrows as opposed to Gwyndelin, so we don't just have to wait for poison to kill Sif off. Just because I felt like I had to, I did try to see if I could hit Sif with throwing knives from this position, but it's not happening sadly. After much shooting, we end up with some very tasty Sifetta. Behind Artorius' grave, we can grab the Hornet Ring, which I actually didn't use, so I don't know why I grabbed it. As I was in the area, I also went to arrow cheese the
To
Hydra.
boss nie jest, ale no.
Even doing it this way, the last head was a pain to hit. But it turns out, the last head actually can't hurt you down the bottom of the ladder here, so getting down here and finishing him off with arrows was a fine strategy. It's not a boss, but I suppose we could call this head cheese. I flame down the golem and then speak to Dusk. From her, we buy Hidden Body, Cast Light, and Ulasil Ivory Catalyst. Back in the Berg, we pop some boss souls and level intelligence to 14 so I can use the catalyst we just bought. I then went to free
Magia.
Griggs quickly and bought full control and the bellowing Dragon Crest ring from him back at Firelink Shrine. Now, we return to the Asylum. But not before getting the slumbering Dragon Crest ring, of course. With this on, we do the classic Stray Demon cheese of dropping down, running over to this corner.
Jezu, dobra, zapomniałem. Jak się w odpowiednim miejscu tutaj stanie, to się go nie agruje.
And then pelt him with dung pies until he's toxicked. Dung pies do 4200 damage over 10 minutes, which isn't quite enough to kill him annoyingly, meaning that we need to actually do one more toxic proc. So after 3 more dung pies and a few more minutes of waiting, our Saint All-Stray cheese is ready to eat. Probably should wipe off all that poop first though. With him dead, we grab the peculiar doll and return to Anor Londo to head into the painted world. This undead dragon blocks our path, but he's incredibly easy to cheese with arrows. He doesn't even attack if you're a little way up these steps, he just sits there sadly as you kill him.
Rozjebana gierka,
I took
nie?
the shortcut to Priscilla to avoid the bone zone because of course nobody has time for that. For Priscilla, the strategy is the same as for Stray Demon, except it's even easier because she doesn't even aggro onto you initially. Just throw some dung pies as she stands there and wait until the toxic cloud
Że jak boss
appears.
dostaje
It
damage od
actually only
toksika,
takes
to
one
nie
pack of
zaliczy, że to
toxic
jest
to
damage,
kill her,
który ty
so
mu
after
zadasz.
5 minutes of waiting, the result is some nice, stinky Pristilton. I escape the painted world and... Wow, that's a lot of Ians. Time to get out of here. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did also grab the Fire Surge Pyromancy from the painted world before leaving. Back to Firelink again, where I wake up Frampt and place the Lord Vessel to open everything up. The first stop is the Duke's Archives, where I killed everything including the Golem to get the broken pendant. I then got smacked up by Seath, listened to a Snake Man's mixtape, shot down the Picasses who just didn't attack me for some reason, and got the key. Hey, turn off that racket! Terrible damn kids. With everything opened up, it was time for Seath. This is where Fire Surge comes in handy. I used the Bellowing Dragon Crest ring, Red Tearstone ring, and Power Within. I rolled into the crystal to break it when he was nearby, and then just walked up and held the button to cast Fire Surge until he died. Also, just in case you don't want the worry of being in Red Tearstone range, you can also kill him without using it in the exact same fashion. Either way, it's hard cheese for him, that's why we call him Palmer Seath. Next up, I head to New Londo where I got through Boo's shifty mansion and got the key to the seal. In the drained area below, I grab the very large Andre. With some Titanite chunks, I max upgrade the longbow, or I would have done, but it turns out I somehow forgot to grab the Titanite slab after killing the Stray Demon. Oops. Anyway, we now head down to Darkroot Basin and grab Dusk's armor. But also, we're going to head to the DLC right now. The initial plan for our good buddy Ian was Fire Surge, but he doesn't actually want to stay still all that much. It's almost as if he doesn't want me to burn him to death. So, instead I went for Great Combustion. Without even needing to go into Red Tearstone range, 4 was enough to kill Ian. That's some delicious Manticore Jack right there. Up ahead, I got my weight load to between 25 and 30%, and then used meme rolls to skip the forest section by repeatedly rolling down the elevator shaft here. Now for Artorius. This is a bit of a long one. First, we activate the boss fight and then quit out immediately. And I'll quickly go and level up endurance to 40. With that level of stamina plus full control, we can meme roll all the way down this elevator shaft to get to the abyss already. I then run to this bonfire. I didn't actually grab Dark Bead on the way because it's just so cheesy anyway that it feels too obvious a choice, so I'm not going to use it this run. As we're here, we may as well run down to Manus. Of course, we do the outside the arena arrow cheese by lining ourselves up here and shooting him with a lot of arrows, and I mean a lot of arrows. After enough shots, he dies, although his health bar remains when we enter the arena for some reason. Oh well, it's still Manus Chago for us regardless. With him finished off, it's time to head up this way. This guy helpfully drops to his death. Now, this might surprise you, but it turns out trying to go through this way backwards sucks really badly, especially if you just try to run through. But that's nothing a few arrows can't fix. We make it up to the lift, and after a bit of clearing out the enemies here, we light the bonfire. Now we can finally do Artorius. If you take the stairs up to Goth, we can actually aim into Artorius' arena and shoot him with arrows from here. It's an easy kill anyway, but if you aim for the head, you get extra damage, and it will kill him even quicker. Eventually, he dies. I'm going to call that Artorius. For the next part, i.e. Calamite, I go grab the Dragon Slayer Great Bow from Ogląda. I upgrade it to maximum and then buy as many great arrows as I can. Now, I've seen people before messing about with free aiming spells or trying to stand at the edge with a fully magic resist shield.
Generalnie Kalamita się na speedrunach robi magią w first encounterze, bo jest czar, którym można rzucić sobie tarczę i on wtedy nie zadaje ci obrażeń jak przelatuje i ma swój normalny pasek życia, jak jest w tej latającej animacji i go zestrzelić odpowiednim celowaniem.
But that's too much effort for me. Once you get down there, run to the other side of the arena. Once Calamite has finished his initial fire run, which should miss you, stand in between these two orange plants with this puddle on your right. When you see Calamite coming, run to this little plant here, turn and fire a great arrow at him.
Okej, łukiem też się da,
return to
nie
your
wiedziałem
previous
nawet.
spot. While this does take a while, it is by far the safest way. At some point during this, I took off all my clothes. Shortly after, I also removed my armor in-game to make myself light load. After around 15 minutes, Calamite dies off-screen, which I refer to as Black Dragon Camembert. Back at Firelink, I speak to Petrus and buy the Force Miracle. I actually need to kill Lautrec on this run, as I forgot about him earlier, and my initial plan for him was to use Force to blast him off the edge and kill him with full damage, but yeah, that didn't pan out. So instead, Pyromancy go brrrr. Let's head down to Demon Ruins now, and of course we use the classic cheese on Ceaseless Discharge.
Aha.
Is it a cheese if it's actually intended by the
No
devs?
właśnie.
Probably not, but if he didn't have it, he'd be the cheeseless discharge.
No ale można go tak naprawdę ominąć, no nie?
Anyhow, we kill the worm here
To nie
and
jest
get the
wymagane
bonfire.
do kończenia
Up
gry.
ahead, I clear out all the enemies to prepare for this next bit of nonsense. We need some help from this rockworm here. You need to stand with your back to the wall and bait the grab attack. Attack with a shield in your right hand just as you see him start the grab wind-up, and boom, you clip through the floor above the Centipede Demon's boss arena. The timing is very precise, so if you do it wrong, it either won't work or you'll get munched. Or you can fall and die like this. Once you've done it, walk very slowly until you get to the boss door. Drop down on the left side, keep going to the left, and you'll be able to drop down here outside the Centipede Demon's boss room. Now, make your way up to the hole where the lift to the Daughter of Chaos would normally be. This hole here is right above Demon Fire Sage's boss room, but even with full control, we actually can't survive the drop. So instead, jump around the hole to get to these stairs where you can in fact safely drop in. Demon Fire Sage is here frozen in place. We now easily kill him with pyromancies to make some Fire Sage Derby cheese. Compared to that whole fiasco, Centipede Demon has one of the easiest cheeses there is. Simply stand in the corner here and lure him over. It's best to use a shield so you can just keep blocking everything until he does the grab. You need to get caught by the grab.
I teraz spamujesz ataki.
Mash the attack buttons to break out, and he'll end up flying out of the map, dying after about a minute or so, turning him from Centipede to Centibreed. Now we press on ahead to get to the next bonfire. As for Bed of Chaos,
nie ma
well, we got a good
chaos, tylko bombami.
one here. First, enter the boss fight and run up right underneath it like so. Then, from this curved bit of floor, move forward 6 steps. You can count the steps by the tiles on the floor. It should be 6 tiles from the curved section. Then, aim at this branch here with the spot on it with your bow, back out of aiming, and throw a black firebomb. As soon as the firebomb is thrown, go back to aiming and move your...
Oj, tak jak on to zrobił, tak jak mu wejdzie cinematic i zrej to wystarczająco wolno, to mu przesunie, tak nie można.
Aim over to the other side. Once the cutscene is over, look for a similar branch over
no, i tu, w tym miejscu,
the other side, back out of aiming again, and throw a black firebomb. You need to do this quick, or you might get hit by the fiery scythe attack the boss does in the second phase. You should get the second cutscene. After this, roll frantically through these branches, hope it doesn't do the firestorm attack, and kill the bug quickly, defeating the Bed of Chaos. With that sorted, we head to the catacombs. I do the usual drop down to skip most of this area, and then I bring my boy Leroy in to absolutely smash Pinwheel with no issue whatsoever. Pin Wednesday Day, some might say. I grab the Mask of Leeds Jr. and head into the Tomb of Giants where Patches gives us a helping foot as always. But that's okay, because we get the Skull Lantern, which we instantly trade for the Ring of Fog. With the Ring of Fog and Slumbering Dragoncrest ring equipped, the skeletons will not aggro on us at all when we drop into Nico's arena. Stay back, shoot him with some
No,
arrows as he
AI
comes
mu się
close,
nie
and
triggeruje.
do a two-handed block with any weapon to avoid the sword through the floor attack, which just works for some reason. Then, just annihilate him with pyromancy up close for a very easy win.
Znaczy szkieletem
See
się
ya,
nie triggeruje.
Gruyev Lord Nito.
Siema, guru.
Next, I quickly went to get Havel's armor. Time for the Four Kings.
Na Four
Wearing
Kingów
this
też
armor
nie ma,
means
bo
you
się
can tank their
pojawiają
hits
w
up close.
trakcie po
With a combination
cutscence.
of power within
W sensie
and
po skoku.
pyromancy, chunking down their health becomes no issue whatsoever. 3 Kings is all it takes to put an end to this one,
Ale teoretycznie
making
ich
us
bić
some
nie
nice
trzeba,
rock
można ich
Four
skipnąć,
Kings.
nie?
I now cook up some extra spicy soup. I've tried many soups before, but this one was superior. I then bravely run to Gwyn's
Gwyn
boss room.
pupłok i się
So,
nie triggeruje.
Look, obviously I could parry cheese him, but for something different, let's do this. Firstly, we run up this bit of scenery here. Some of Gwyn's attacks can still get you, but it's a relatively safe area to just chuck some pyromancies to kill him in just a few short blasts. A rare cheese here, known as Gwynów Châtel. We finish the run by setting
Kurde.
ourselves on fire, melting us
Wydaje
down
mi się,
to
że
a
więcej
beautiful
rzeczy
fondue.
wyszło schizować.
This was fun. Dark Souls 1 really is a melting pot of cheeses ripe for the tasting.
No
Hope
pokaż
you
jak
enjoyed the video.
rozpierdolona jest ta
Until
gra,
next time,
nie?
I've been JK Leeds.
Stary, z jeden
See ya,
wielki spaghetti
and have a
goat,
good
tu
one.
nic nie działa. Jak wiesz, jak to wyłączyć, nie? Każdy poszczególny element bez kitu da się z tej gry zgliczować. Z giga ciekawe.